Alright. What is going on, everyone, on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another live stream, another live Sunday stock watch from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. And of course, today is Sunday. I'm coming live a little bit earlier today, as me and my fiance are actually going to be going into the hospital here in a couple hours, around 5 p.m. or so, to get her whole labor thing underway. Going a week past her due date and whatnot, so it's time for the baby to come. So if you're in Discord, I'll definitely be sure to keep you all updated on that whole situation. But just going live a little bit earlier today than normal. You guys know I usually try to go live around the time that the futures market goes live, 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern on the East Coast for market open, quote unquote open for the new week. But with that, we'll just hop right in. So just same old, same old. If you guys have any stocks or anything you want me to take a look at, just shout them out there in the chat, and I'll be sure to break them down as quickly as I can and whatnot. And if you're new to the channel, definitely consider that subscribe button below. We'd love to have you here. We're almost at 700 subscribers. I would love for us to reach that here in the next week. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That way you will be notified every time we go live or upload another video. We try to go live a couple times a week, and I try to upload another video or two also throughout the week as well for you guys. So real quickly, just to again do a little recap of where I'm at. And of course, just make sure the stream is up and going. We got one of you tuning in already. So I'm still paper trading, of course. I literally have been out making some extra money and whatnot. I will be using my own money here before long. But again, we did actually, for those of you on Discord know, we did go over the $5,000 profit. And I'll get that pulled up here on my phone and show it to you guys here in just a second. So we're at like $5,100 or $5,200 total profit since trading the micro e-mini futures. So as you can see, it's $5,128.75 to be exact. Hopefully the camera is showing it all right and whatnot. But yeah, so I mean, that was awesome to go over the $5,000 mark. Just continue to do good trades, just cover the profit. You can sorry about that. You can always get back in. It's not like you're gonna miss out on anything. Sorry about that. I got something in my throat. Oh man, should make sure I was all good to go apparently. But just knowing that you can always re-enter, that's the beauty. Man, I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that. That's the beauty of these futures, guys, is that you can always get back in. There's no like 3-day trade limit. You could literally, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't suggest doing this, but I guess you could. You could literally scalp all day. It's impossible really to time it. That's why I wouldn't really try to suggest doing this. Suggest trying to do this, but you could literally, if you wanted to, I guess, hop in and out, 10, 20 times a day, I guess, if you really wanted. That's not what I would do personally, but what I see myself doing going forward is probably doing a couple day trades a day, maybe some overnight. Just depends, right? But and that's pretty much what I've been doing. You guys know in Discord that a lot of times I'll place a position early on in the evening session, and then usually around like 10 o'clock midnight, market starts kind of making some movements, and I'll either cover my profits or cut a very small loss. I really have not had, obviously, being up over $5,000. And if you're wondering, I'm doing this based on 99% of my trades are based on like a real life scenario where I'm only going to be using one position. I'm not necessarily doing like 5 or 10, anything like that. I did an 18 position contract once just to see the commissions and whatnot, and I put it in Discord for you guys. So if you're interested in that, check out the Discord group chat. It's totally free, by the way. I've mentioned that in pretty much every video, but for anyone that's new, there's nothing that I charge for, anything like that. It's just a chat with about 100 people in there now. We just bounce ideas off one another and whatnot. So check it out in the description box if you are interested. But that's where that's where I literally update you guys almost moment by moment on my trades, my profit, all that good stuff. But yeah, for the most part, guys, I mean, I'm doing it like a real life scenario. You can see up 1775, which is actually wrong. The market's at 2325, which is where I'm at. So that's kind of that's just wrong. Essentially, we're at break even right now. I actually made a mistake. I was shooting a video for you guys, and I ended up not shooting that video, and I accidentally went through and bought 10 contracts, and then it messed up my whole average price and whatnot. So I mean, who knows? It might still actually quote unquote be up 17.75. Who knows? But yeah, that was a mess. I wasn't trying to buy 10 contracts. I was showing it for example for that video, but I accidentally ended up hitting submit, and then that happened. So, but I mean, just to keep it simple, I mean, like I said, the whole 5,000 thing, 90 to 95% of the profit has come strictly just based on 1 to 2 position trades, like 1 to 2 contracts, not like 5, 7, etc. You guys know that I've preached also over and over that if you're going to be trading really more than like 4 to 7, 5 to 7, that range of MES contracts, you might as well just get a little bit more money in the account and go over to the actual ES. To me, micro is more so for guys that are trading with like $5,000 or less, probably closer to $3,000 or less, because if you do 5 of these contracts, and I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse here because I've mentioned this time and time again, but I think people aren't really taking that into consideration when they're buying. So I mean, say you wanted to buy at the market, let's go in here and edit this order. If you were to go in here and say buy 4 or 5 contracts, you confirm and send. So I mean, it's going to take $3,400 for that trade, and then you're not thinking of, a lot of people forget about the whole commission and fee side. So I mean, you're talking $10 to $15 just for a 5 contract position. Of course, you're going to have some fees and whatnot on the back side too. So it kind of piles up over time, and like, why pay $10 to $20 in fees whenever you could literally just save up a couple more $1,000, get a couple more $1,000 in your bank account, or just simply trade 2 or 3 futures here and there, the micro minis, and start building that account. And then once your account gets like $6,000, go ahead and go over to /ES, and then if you were to just buy 1, for example, it would only cost you $344. So honestly, guys, I say I wouldn't, like me with my account, I won't be doing no more than like 4 or 5. It just does not make sense from the commissions and everything. Even on Tastyworks, Tastyworks is one of the cheapest platforms, which I will be using for my actual cash for trading futures. I mean, it's roughly, I think, like $1.80 per contract on the futures, somewhere around $2 essentially. But even then, I mean, if you do say 3 or 4 contracts, you're talking about roughly $10 still, $8 to $10. So why would I do that whenever I could just get a little bit more money in the account, switch over to ES, and have bigger dollar results? Because every 1 point that ES goes up, you're gonna make or lose what is it, $50, I think? Yeah, $50 for a whole point, not a tick, a whole point. I think one tick is $12.50 if I remember right. But bigger money results on moves and less commissions, of course, because obviously it's one contract versus 3 or 4, etc., etc. I think you guys understand that. If you don't, just let me know in the comments after this video uploads, if you see it after it uploads, or if you're watching live right now and you need me to go any further into what we're talking about, then just shout it out in the chat too. But just something to keep in mind. I'm going to be beating that horse a lot just because I don't think a lot of people talk about it. I mean, it is pretty simple. It's just doing the math right at the end of the day, but a lot of people don't think about that when they're getting into positions. They're just thinking strictly, I want to get in, I have this much money to trade with. Say I have $2,000 in the bank. Oh, I'm going to buy 3 or 4 contracts, and then they just go on. They don't think about the cost of the trade, how much of a movement you're going to need. You should know essentially before going into the trade, okay, I need a 1 or 2 point movement to make my commissions back. At that point, it's a free trade. And then I need 10 points to reach my target profit and then get out. You need to have a plan going into any trade, no matter if it's futures, options, penny stocks, normal stocks, heaven forbid, but Forex, if you trade that garbage, Forex, anything, Bitcoin, you just have to have a plan. You have to know, it's just the basics, guys. I can't stress that enough. But anyways, so that's the whole situation with paper trading and my kind of trading update I've made. Like I said, those of you that don't know, me and my fiance, like I mentioned, having a baby here in the next 24 hours or so, and we've just been kind of piling up money, and she agreed with me that if I can come up with a $300 to $400, roughly about half of a micro e-mini contract, then she said that it'd be okay. We agreed mutually that if I can get half of that money just from extra money like DoorDash or selling furniture, whatever the case may be, that we can pull the additional money out of savings, just a couple $100, nothing crazy, right? And I can start trading these micro mini futures with actual cash, because like I was telling her, I mean, I'm doing pretty good on that. And that's the thing, is I don't ever like hopping into cash before proving to myself over a pretty long period of time that I can be successful doing it. And over the last 2 months now, I've been pretty successful, I would say. So it will be interesting to see kind of how the whole using cash thing translates. But we'll be doing that here within the next couple weeks for sure. So, but as for the overall market, you guys know I like to look at actual ES just because we can pull up a 20-year chart and whatnot. I'll just pull up the 1 year right now. But overall, so we're kind of still stuck in this little range, of course. The good thing is that we are right around that 29.50 level. That's going to be the next area where we see whether the market's going to take that turn and go back up, or are we going to turn down. I personally, this is why I'm on the long side. I think we're probably going to go up tomorrow. I think we're going to retest 29.50. I think it's like 29.50 or 29.70. We can like zoom in here and take a look. So you can see we got close to it before, but yeah, right around like 29.50 is where the market really needs to test. 29.50 to 60 at the most. And I think we are going to test that here within the next couple days. Plus, our indicators are showing that we have plenty of room to still go to the upside. MACD showing that, I mean, while we could still continue to have some selling, of course, I personally don't think we are. I think this is about it short term. Doesn't mean that like I'm completely long the market and think we're going to 3,100 or 3,050, anything like that. But I do think here before long we will be back near 3,000, but we definitely need to break through 29.50 first, which I think personally we're going to do either sometime Monday, Tuesday, more than likely. It'll be interesting to see kind of how the market opens up, but that is why I switched to the long side. I'm in at 23.50. And my target sell, actually, to be honest, is at 29.50. If this thing gets up, but it's with some stipulations. If it gets up to 29.50 and we kind of just blow through, we come back and retest it and bounce off of it, etc., then I'll go ahead and hold, because then our next line of resistance is going to be right around like 29.80. So that would be my new target at that point. But where I'd be happy selling this position is 29.50, because I know that's going to be a pretty strong area of resistance. If it looks like we're going to hit it and then get rejected and come down some more, then I'll probably cover my profit, switch to the short side, and make some money on the way down, because at that point I think we're going back to 2,800 probably, and maybe even lower. So I mean a lot of potential profit to make to that short side if that scenario plays out. But even, guys, if I just sell, say, around like 29.50, you're talking about roughly a 25 to 27 point profit. Let's just say 25 to keep it simple, times $5 per point. You're talking $125 of profit on a $693 trade. You're talking about 18% return within a couple days. So nothing bad, nothing too crazy, or not a lot of profit or nothing, but $125 is $125. 18% is a very good return in my opinion. And then if that scenario plays out where it looks like 29.50 we're going to get rejected and come to the downside, like I said, I'd probably wait, get back in around like 29.30, as it looks like we're going to continue on down. Target sell would honestly, truthfully, probably be somewhere around this 28.30. So you're talking, what, at that point, 100-point swing, because obviously staircase up, elevator down. When it goes down hard and fast. So we're talking about a 100-point move times $5. You're talking about a $500 return to the short side if this scenario plays out, guys. I'm not saying that that's exactly what's going to happen. This is all just in theory here. But divided by your 693, you were talking about a 72% return on your investment, which is a good little week of work if that all plays out. It never plays out how you expect it to, though, right? So I mean, best case scenario, you're talking roughly $600 of profit by the end of the week is the goal. And again, that's just simply one contract. We're not talking about holding 2 or 3 or anything like that. You're talking about just one contract, $690, $700 per trade essentially. And you can make some really good money. This is why I love futures over options. If you are in the options, I mean, yes, options, you can have those amazing like 1,000% returns some days, but in my opinion, futures are the best way to go. You don't have to deal with the Greeks. You don't have to deal with all this BS about this contract expire. Yeah, your contracts expire, but you don't have theta burning up the contract day by day, hour by hour. That's why I love futures. I mean, it's just as simple as, do you think the market's going up or do you think the market's going down? It's not rocket science at the end of the day. I mean, my fiance could trade futures, in all honesty. I was showing her how it works, and she even pretty much understands how it works. That's why she agreed with me that I need to start trading the futures with some real money ASAP to make some extra money around the house. But overall for the market, that's kind of what I'm seeing play out. Like I said, either 29.50 is gonna where we get smacked and we possibly make a new recent low, not new low, but new recent low. If we take out that 27.75 area, I think we got a long drop to the downside. I think it's like 29.60 or something like that would be the next floor. Or what did I say, 27.60? I don't remember. Let me see here. It would be probably, 26.50 roughly. So, and that's just my opinion, of course, just based on where the market's kind of found a floor back late last year in 2018. But based off this year, if we break that whole 27.80 range, then we're at least probably going to come down to around 27.25. And then if that ultimately breaks, and we're coming back down probably to around 26.25. And then if we break that, then we're talking probably lower 2000s again. I don't necessarily see that happening. You're talking about a 30% pretty much crash at that point. So we'll see what happens. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm just saying that's the scenarios to the short side that could play out. I think worst case scenario, we get rejected at 29.50. We come back down probably somewhere around 27.40 roughly. Find our floor. Because, I mean, from the all-time high, that is roughly, let's see here, 27.30. That's a 10%. That's pretty much correction territory right there. Minus 10%. Good little healthy correction, and then the market would continue up. But that's like the short scenario, I guess. Long scenario, 29.50. We break it. We probably retest 3,000, hang around there. I just don't know. I don't think this market's going to make a new all-time high, personally, before we go into a correction. I'm personally a little bit on edge. I'm still kind of thinking more to the short side than to the upside because, I mean, this market just seems to kind of been running out of steam lately. And then there's just a whole bunch of news headlines. Pretty much it's kind of like late last year where any news story that could come out that could potentially wreck the market did come out. And ultimately, we had that big correction, of course. Actually, we were in a bear market there briefly because we were down, about 21%. But it'll be interesting to see kind of how this, like I said, August is going to be a pretty big month. It's going to be interesting, and what a coincidence, right around the same time all these contracts are going to be expiring, right? I always think that has something to do with it, with the whole futures market, but we'll see what happens throughout the rest of the month. But that's kind of just my 2 cents on the market. Hopefully the stream is doing okay, by the way. But like I said, if you guys have any questions or have any ticker symbols at any point, just shout it out there in the chat, and I will definitely answer it for you guys. And I know that we're probably not getting as much viewership today, just because you all are definitely used to me doing these streams in a few hours from now, but we are literally going to be heading to the hospital probably within the next 2 to 2.5 hours and get the whole show on the road, which, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but we are probably going to try to do some sort of like vlogging about all that, just kind of our experience with the first baby. I don't know if anyone's really interested in that, but I don't know if I'm going to post on this channel or if my fiance is going to be starting a kind of a stay-at-home mom vlog channel. I'll keep you guys updated on that, though, if any of you guys are interested. But other than that, the oil market, too, I wanted to hit on the oil market. I think the oil market is finally starting to spin down. I did not know that it had this little pop-up over 54 again. Let me take a look here. So, okay. Yeah, I still believe. So I think we're going to get rejected right here, which is what it looks like we are. We touched right around 55. Got smacked. Probably getting ready to go into some more selling within the next couple days. We might have a little test since our RSI cooled off just enough. We might have a little test again of around 55. But ultimately, I think within this next week, oil's probably going back under 50. If you are an oil trader, I would probably be suggesting to go to the short side this week. You're probably at least going down to 50, if not back into the 40s, which is amazing for those of us that keep track of gas prices and whatnot. Here in Dallas, it's back down almost to $2 a gallon. It's like 209, 219, somewhere around there here in North Dallas. But I wanted to hit on that because you guys know I've kind of been skeptical of where oil was going to go. I was getting ready to tell you guys earlier this last week maybe to go to the upside, maybe like go to the long side because we were kind of stuck here, and then boom, we went up. But then I saw we got rejected right at 55, and I was like, you know what, never mind. I think this thing's just going to keep on descending, keep going down. We're probably going under $50 by possibly the end of the week, if not for sure, probably the end of the month. This also kind of plays into why I think the market overall is going to kind of roll over and go into correction territory longer term here in the next couple weeks, just because oil market's kind of showing signs of weakness. Obviously, global growth is slowing down almost to a complete halt in a lot of cases. And then just a whole lot of other political, more so tension, like with China, U.S. trade war, same old BS that's been affecting the market the last year or two. So I mean, just look at this chart and then look at the oil chart. They don't like go hand in hand with one another, of course, for obvious reasons. But I mean, they're both kind of running out of steam, and in oil's case, really dropped a lot over the last probably 2 or 3 weeks. So some stuff to keep in mind over the next week or two, going into the end of August and whatnot. Let me see here. How's it going, Layla? What do you think the best thing to invest in, like to actually hold? Well, if you're actually looking to invest, honestly, I mean, I was kind of thinking about that too. McDonald's, just kind of more so your blue chip names. McDonald's, just try to find some that are on sale, like Nike. If you're looking to actually invest longer term, the thing is if you're looking more so to quote unquote invest, then you want to be thinking longer term, of course. And whenever we're going into what looks like we could possibly be going into a correction here before long, if we're not already in the mix of one already, you kind of want to just look at those blue chip names, even ones like Amazon. Amazon I would stay away from personally, just because, pull it up here, it's got a lot of room to go to the downside still. I think I wouldn't be interested in Amazon, honestly, until it gets back to like 1,500. But McDonald's is one that I like. Good blue chip name. It's kind of high right now. I mean, it's near all-time highs, but it'll probably continue to go up over years to come. I mentioned Verizon and Nike as well. Verizon, a good dividend stock. Has been on the downtrend recently, but I think we're getting near our support levels, right? I would try to get this around 55, 54, 55. But longer term, I mean, it's a good company, and they'll continue to pay those dividends. And then we said Nike, of course. I kind of actually really like Nike right now where it's at, right around the $80 mark. Has the dividend coming up here at the end of the month, actually. And I think your target sell could be somewhere around $85 to $90 easily, which is a good little return. This, if you're talking about the platform I'm using right here, it's the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim. It's free. It comes, like, once you open a TD Ameritrade account, which you do not have to fund, by the way. I have a video about that. Like, a lot of people think you have to fund your TD Ameritrade account to get the Thinkorswim platform. You do not. I have a video about that. If you just type in how to get Thinkorswim free, something like that, my video should pop up in like the top 5 of that search result. It's got like 10,000 views, and it shows you step by step how to get TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim through TD Ameritrade for free, all that good stuff. But I use personally Tastyworks. There's a link in the description box, I believe, that shows their commissions and everything. They have some of the cheapest commissions around when it comes to trading stocks, options, futures, all of that good stuff. And like I said, the link in the description box, it lays out like their whole fee structure and everything like that. That's who I use. But right now, I'm just actually paper trading because I'm currently in the process of going into the micro E-mini futures that just came out recently that have a ton of potential for traders to make a lot of money. Not like get rich quick or anything like that, but it allows people with not a whole lot of money to invest. You can literally trade these for about $600 or $700. And I'm paper trading them right now, just getting in the hang of them because they just came out this last May. I'm up over $5,000 since trading these. These are what I trade. I don't necessarily quote unquote invest right now, but when you're investing, like, there's a big misconception between investing and trading. Trading, we're looking more to get in and out within a day or so or less. And then you have the swing trading, which could be a few days, week or so. And then there's what I call medium term, short term investing, which is less than a year, 6 months or less, usually in most cases to me. And then there's actual long-term investing, which if you're doing long-term investing, I say just throw your money into either dividend stocks and or things like VOO, the Vanguard ETF of the S&P 500. It has the cheapest expense ratios. I think it's like 0.03%, something ridiculously low. And it just literally follows the S&P 500, which I like. Something that's simple, essentially. What else do I do to earn money? Well, I mean, I'm just a normal person, to be honest. I mean, I've got a full-time job. I'm actually about to start my own business here early next year once I get all my licenses and whatnot in the industry that I work in, because there's a lot of potential to make a lot of money in that industry. And then, honestly, my hope is later on down the road to sell that for about, honestly, $50 million. It's a big target, but you got to set big targets, right? That's what it's all about. And then I'll go all in on trading and investing in real estate, all that good stuff. But right now, I just work a full-time job. I do the trading thing on the side, have the YouTube channel. You don't get paid on YouTube until you hit like over 1,000 subscribers or something like that. I do this more so to build a community. We have the Discord group chat, totally free. I don't charge for anything associated with this channel. There's like 100 people down there. I just like this community, like on YouTube, on Discord that we have, because it allows traders to bounce ideas off one another. And in a lot of cases, we help each other make a lot more money than we would have just simply going based off of one person's opinion. I know there's a bunch of us. I don't know how many. There's probably not a lot of us tuning in right now because I usually do this stream later on in the evening once the market opens back up in a couple hours. But my fiance is going to be having her baby here in the next 24 hours, so we're about to go to the hospital here in about an hour or two. So that's why we're doing the stream so early. Plan on getting jobs in real estate. Yeah. I mean, you got. I don't know how old you are or anything like that, but I mean, you definitely want. Just find a good like a lot of people fall for the trap of you got to do something you love. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, I've never had a job that I loved, but the pay of every job, like every job I get, my pay has increased, and I mean, I'm making the most money that I've ever made, and to me, it's like when you're in your younger age, like teens, 20s, even 30s, don't do the whole follow your passion bullshit or you're going to be broke. You just got to follow the money. I'm not saying you got to be miserable every day. There are days where I really hate my job, but then there's days where I'm like, you know what? I make really good money for my age with no college degree, all that good stuff. Just keep my eye on the end prize and just keep moving forward, make as much money as I can, and that's what I suggest to everyone who's looking for a job. Just look for a job that's going to pay you for what you do. Like me, I'm not paid by the hour. I get paid for production I do for the company I work for, like strictly production, the amount of customers that I interact with and do on a daily basis, and then I get paid for upselling too, commission. So get paid for what you do. Don't get paid for just simply showing up, because then you're really not going to reach your full potential of your work ethic. And if your work ethic just kind of goes to shit, then you're not really going to improve your life, like get better with money, get better with your job, whatever the case may be. if that makes sense. Let's see. No, yeah, I mean, honestly, the kid was, yeah, funny situation with the whole kid thing. It was not expected, but part of life, just got to move forward. Kids aren't like that expensive or anything. My fiance is going to stay at home, and like I said, I make enough money where it's not going to be a big deal. We got plenty of money, actually, a lot of money, actually, to be honest, for our age, in savings and whatnot. Enough savings where I could literally quit my job tomorrow and I would not have to go back to work for probably a year. But we're just building that, and then like I said, once I get my licenses and whatnot, where I can start my business legally with the state and everything like that, state of Texas, then showtime. At that point, we're planning on launching that business probably around April, May of next year. It just depends on when I get my licenses and whatnot. Turned 18 last week. Oh, happy birthday. Or late birthday, I guess. 18. 18's kind of a crazy year, because that's the year where everyone thinks you should kind of be starting to figure out life. It's not. When I was 18, like, I just turned 22 back in June, but when I was 18, man, I was a train wreck. I went and got a whole bunch of credit cards, credit card debt, thought I was going to college, so I got some stupid student loans, all that BS that society tells you need. And then I ended up with somewhere after student loans, credit cards, all the other BS debt that I had. I probably at one point had somewhere around $20,000 of debt within that first year, being like 18 to 19 years old. Had to move back home. I was in my first rental and I had to move back home, and that's kind of where I just ultimately just sat down, learned about money, learned about going out and making money by any means necessary, and just dug myself out of a hole. My dad was like, you know what, when you're not working your job, you're going to be working with me. He has his own business, and he's like, you're going to be working for me. You're pretty much going to be working 24/7 until you get this debt paid off. And honestly, that was the best thing that happened to me, in all honesty. Let's see. Oh man, that's tough. Yeah. I mean, investing. That's honestly, and like, if there's one thing that, like, I know this is kind of off topic and whatnot, but like, if there's like some things that I would definitely suggest for anyone, like if I knew this back when I was 18, it'd be just get your financial literacy as high as you can. And by financial literacy, I mean like read book. Like, do not get your advice from people that are middle class. Don't get your advice. Like, if someone tries giving you true financial advice, like, oh, you should go do this, and this, like, actually tells you what you should do, just act like it. Just be blunt with them. Be like, is your net worth over $10 million? And if they say no, then just be like, sorry, I just don't really care what you think. You're not rich. I want to be rich. Da, 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 da. It comes off kind of bad, like, people, it leaves a bad taste in people's mouth when you say that, but sometimes you just got to put it out there and tell people, I don't care what you think. I'm doing what I've learned is best to get me from here to here. Because like, whenever I made that decision to just literally learn from the rich, don't learn from the middle class, don't learn from your broke uncle, something like that. Like, don't learn from broke people around you. Then that's when me and my fiance's life started changing. Like, we went from being in tons of debt and having no savings to, like I said, pretty much having close to like a year of savings, being able to literally trade. I'll be using my own personal money trading here in the next couple weeks. Like, just have money, do what you want. And I think that's what it's all about. It's just earning enough money to be able to invest a lot, give a lot to people that are in need, and just build wealth and change your family at the end of the day. It's like, I don't know if you've heard of Dave Ramsey, but like, changing your family tree is what he says a lot. Just making sure that your kids, their kids, like, just on and on, will never have to worry about being broke again. And that's a whole nother topic I could do a whole video about. But yes, investing is really the only way to get rich. I don't care if you're investing in real estate, which I think is the number one. Multifamily real estate is by far, and by multifamily I mean apartment complexes. That is the number one way to get rich, followed by like trading, investing in the stock market, because you can literally invest into something like a VOO, which is just a S&P ETF, which means this is literally going to follow ES, which I talk about often. This is just S&P 500. See here, if you look at this, we go to the 1-year chart, and then we look at VOO. It's going to move hand in hand with S&P 500. So like, for example, if you had bought down here after the correction we had last year, say you bought in at $226 per share and you sold, you're never going to get it at the high. It never happens. Let's say you sold somewhere around 272, you would have made 20% on your money over a period of, less than a year, which, the market only does traditionally about 10%, people say 8, it doesn't do 8, it does usually about 10%, 12 on really good years, but somewhere around that 9 to 12% range. Yes, there are years where the market has down years, but if you just hold your money in these ETFs or index funds, whatever you decide to invest in long term, like you're 18, Layla, so let's say you invested this over 20 years at 38 years old. Say you had invested this 20 years ago. You were in the S&P 500 when it was at $100. Your money would have pretty much tripled over a period of 20 years. And then that doesn't even factor in compound interest, just all that stuff that makes you just stupid wealthy over time. So the things you just need to learn about is just compound interest, multifamily real estate, trading. If trading's more so if you kind of have a passion for this. If you don't have a passion for like looking at stocks every day and that kind of thing, then I wouldn't necessarily like say trading's gonna like be your thing, so to speak. I'm not like trying to say don't trade, but trading's just one of those things where like I'll wake up thinking about the stock market. I always have since I was like 15 years old. Not saying you have to have been 15 and thinking about stocks, but like if this isn't just a passion of yours, then you would definitely just want to invest in something simple like this and hold it over a period of 20 years. Keep investing. Every time the market goes down, put a little bit more money in, and over time the compounding interest on top of your dividend payments that you'll get from all these companies, you'll make lots of money over the period of 20 years. There's actually, if you have an iPhone, look up the app. It's called Compound Interest Calculator, and you can literally just run your numbers. Like you can say I'm starting out with $0. I'm gonna invest $500 a month for 20 years or $100 a month for 20 years, and it will literally show you in 20 years you'll have $1.2 million. In 20 years at $1,000 a month, you'll have $3.8 million. Just something like that. I've done this time and time again, and just to kind of see like where we're heading. You're dead on right there. Yeah, college for most people is a way. I say honestly, the only people who need to be going to college are lawyers and doctors, and that's pretty much it in my opinion. Story behind my kid, to just sum it up, is shit happens at the end of the day. Nothing is ever 100%, obviously. But it's a blessing. Now like me, it's given me more drive, because now that I actually have a kid who I'm going to have to teach all this stuff to someday, like it gives me more drive. Like there'll be days where like I used to just be like, you know what, I'm not going to do extra work today. I'm not going to go out here and make some extra money, extra $50, extra $100. But now I'm just like, I'm on fire. I'm not going to say I never have days where I don't want to do anything, because I do. Usually once a week, I will literally not do anything. Depends on how long of a week I had in my job. But I'm on fire now. Like ever since it's set in that like I'm having a kid, I've just been on fire, like just with making money, and all that. What did we just say? Well, to be honest, we hate abortion and whatnot. I know there's cases where it makes sense, but I'm not pro-abortion or anything like that personally. Neither of us are. We just kind of agreed that, you know what, we made the choice to do the acts that got us here. So I'm not gonna end a life because I don't want to like take responsibility, so to speak, because it ultimately was our choice. But another one, VNQ is actually another one. And honestly, speaking of the whole Vanguard thing, Vanguard, literally, that's a website you need to go to, actually, Layla. Just type in Vanguard on Google, and they will literally show you every single fund they have. You can go through what the expense ratio is, which when it comes to Vanguard, the expense ratios are like 0. It's not even something to think about when picking a fund. But like it will show you like what the return was every year for like the last 5 or 10 years. It'll tell you when the fund was created and what the fund has averaged from like a percent return standpoint since the fund has originated. A lot of their funds aren't that old. They're like 10 to 20 years. I suggest going with their funds that are at least at the minimum 10 years old, preferably finding some of their funds that have been around since like the 1990s. They have a few even that have been around since like 1960. If they have a good track record of anything over 8%, I think it's a very good fund to invest in. Honestly, right now is not really a good time. I'm going to be straight up. Right now, like me, we're not investing anything long term right now. I've told my fiance for the last year, I was like, the market is in a huge bubble right now. I thought it was finally going to burst at the end of last year. You can see we came down a lot when we look at the S&P 500. The S&P 500 dropped like 21% over a period of a couple months. I thought we were finally going to go into this massive like recession. Not massive like '08, but like a good 30-40% recession. And that's what we're waiting on, essentially. I keep saying time and time again, this market looks like it's like running out of steam. You can see we really haven't moved anywhere in terms of all-time highs. We barely made new all-time highs this year. But ever since 2017, the market really has just kind of been stuck. And I think that's the ultimate sign that we're getting ready to roll over into our big little recession. You can see on our weekly chart, we got saved at the beginning of this year. Actually, very end of last year, we got saved and had a big green day. But if we had came below this SMA line on our weekly chart, our 3-year 1-week chart, then we were definitely going to fall down to, I believe, 2,000 on the S&P 500, which would be a huge, like I said, from all-time highs, if we moved down there, it'd be about a 30% correction, 30 to 35% correction. That'd be a recession at that point. So, in my opinion, right now, I mean, a lot of people say, oh, you're just supposed to buy and hold forever and just buy on every dip, which, I mean, that does make sense. But in my opinion, right now, the best thing to be invested in is just cash. We got our money in a 2% yield savings account. It's at least pretty close to keeping up with inflation and whatnot. And when the time comes, when the market ultimately melts down again, that'll be the good time to go all in, get a whole bunch of these ETFs, index funds, all that, invest, go all in on them, because the market always does go back up at the end of the day. And if or when we come down to 2,000 again, the next time the market goes on a rip, we're probably going up to 3,500 to 4,000. So, I mean, you're talking about multiplying your money big time within the market. So, that's just my opinion when it comes to long-term investing right now. But you could go with the standard quote, just buy every dip, and eventually you will make lots of money. But I'll try to remember too, once this video uploads, I'm about to end this video here soon, but once this video uploads, I will try to remember to put a link down to that, what do you call it, that compound interest calculator. I actually have a video about that too. I have tons of videos on here just about like investing, stock market stuff, all that. I think I even have playlists for it too, if you guys want to check them out. But I remember specifically we did a video or two about compounding interest not too long ago, actually, just a few months ago if I remember right. So that's in the channel, but I'll try to put it in the description box after the video uploads and whatnot, because really that compounding interest calculator is amazing. And yeah, the Discord too. By the way, that's an awesome group, and I think you'll actually be like our 100th member. We were like right at 99 members last time I checked. But to go over, I just want to show you guys real quick, those of you that don't really understand the whole compound interest calculator. So this one is actually straight from the federal government, so I mean, you know it's legit. So I mean, you can see here your initial investment, $0, your monthly contribution. I say if you can't invest $500 a month, you're not ready to invest. You need to invest more so in yourself and finding a better job and all that good stuff. Length of years, I always say start out with 20 for long term. Rate of return, I always say start out with 10 to 12, but in this case we'll just do 12. because that's literally what your investments should make on average. There's tons of funds out there that beat the S&P 500. There's some that do 15%. There's some that do 16. There's some that do 10, 12. Either way, you should do roughly around 12%. Variance, I'm not going to do anything with that. And then step 4, we're going to compound annually, calculate. So you can see here in 20 years, you'll have about $500,000 essentially based on this. Me personally, whenever I start quote unquote long-term investing, we'll be putting in quite a bit. We figured, I think, $25,000 a year, so we'll just say $2,000 a month for 20 years at 12%. And then our initial investment will be putting $5,000 down when that time comes. You can just literally work these numbers out based on your scenario, how long you plan on investing, all that good stuff. And you can see ours will be sitting around $1 to $2 million, $1.5 to $2 million. Let's see here. Can you remove verification? I don't think there's a way to do that. In all honesty, I see it says that you actually just joined. I don't think you actually have to verify it, but I don't think there's any way for me to. I think all it does, if I remember right, whenever I joined my first server, it asked for my phone number or email, something like that, but they don't call you, they don't send you text. If it's phone number, they don't call you, send you text and anything like that. And if it's email, I know they don't. I never have gotten an email from Discord other than the whole verifying or whatever. But they're not they're not gonna get your information or anything like that, or else I wouldn't be on there. It's a really good platform, actually, to be honest. The only one that I use when it comes to chats and whatnot. But yeah, this is another one. I'll actually just go ahead and copy this one. I think this is the one we actually did our video on, which was the federal government one. So I'll copy it, and like I said, I'll paste it in here after the video uploads and whatnot. But yeah, like I said, with that whole verified thing, it shouldn't, like I said, I don't remember if it's your phone number or email, but like I said, it's not gonna spam you, anything like that. I've never gotten a call, text, email, anything like that from Discord or anyone associated with them, and it's not gonna give me your information or anything like that either. I had all my emails banned. Oh, okay. Well, shoot. Well, yeah. I mean, there's nothing that I can do personally. I mean, I'll look and see, but because I don't have any bots or control or anything like that on mine. I just literally created it, and I think that's just part of Discord, to be honest. But I'll take a look and see. But we'll see. Yeah, that's weird. I don't understand that. Huh. Yeah. Well, we'll try to figure that out. Yeah, and you can try to message me on my social media too. I have all my social media, everything like that, in the description box too. You can try message me on there about that too. But I'll try to look into it and everything and whatnot too. And yeah, like I said, if you reach out to me, then I'll keep you updated on that as well as anyone else that has issues. For anyone that's watching this after it uploads, or if you're watching now, if you've ever had an issue getting into my Discord server or whatever, reach out to me on social media, whichever one, the Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, any of that. Just reach out to me on there, and I'll make sure you guys get in one way or another. Layla said I should be able to change it, so I'll be looking into that sometime this evening once we get checked into the hospital and whatnot. But so yeah, just message me on there, and then I will keep you updated for sure. But I'll go ahead and end the stream on this note. Like I said, guys, I think overall the market is kind of in a pretty close to deciding whether we're going to go back to the upside or to the downside. I think we're going to test 2950 sometime in the next 2 days, and then if we go up, we're probably going back up to 3,000, and if not, then we're probably going to retest 2780 within the next week. So it's going to be a pretty wild week. I'm interested to see what's going to happen for sure. How's it going there, Mike? Welcome. Man, you showed up late, didn't you? I know, like I was mentioning earlier, I knew everyone was probably going to show up late because I usually do these streams at 5 o'clock Central when the market's opening up. But Yeah, we're getting ready, Mike. Yeah, we're getting ready to go to the hospital here within the next hour or two. So we're getting ready for all that. And like I said, if you missed it all, Mike, like I said, I think you can tell me if I'm wrong or right in Discord. But I think Mark is going to retest 2950 probably within the next day or two. And if we break it, like break it to the upside, then we're probably going back to 2990 to 3000. That's where we'll test everything again. But if we fail at 2950, then I think we're going back to 27. We're going to retest 2780 at least down here at 2825 at the minimum. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But like I said, thank you guys again for tuning in. We definitely had a long stream this time. This one was like an hour or so, almost an hour. So good little stream. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. We'd love to have you here. And if, like I said, if anyone's had trouble with the whole Discord verify thing, let me know. Reach out to me on social media or in the comments even as well. And I'll like keep you all updated and whatnot. All my social media, of course, is in the description box as well, and I will be looking into this whole server situation thing. But yeah, until next time, guys, keep on going out there, making your profits, covering your profits, and achieving your financial freedom this year. And I will see you guys in the next video here within a couple days, and you all will get to meet my baby girl. But until then, take it easy, guys.